Greetings, fellow visitors. This is Upgrade Terminal, a Star of Providence fancast. I'm Malachi.
And I'm Nick. Welcome back to the facility. Today, we are once again joined by a guest known to the community as a beta tester, a longtime community member, and just all around kind of fun dude, BulletDuDe, as it were. Say hi, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Bullet. I've been around the Monolith community for around 6 years now, and I also tested for the Binding of Isaac Repentance. That was like another big achievement for me, I guess.
It's an even bigger name than Star of Providence.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome. It's great to have you with us.
it's good to be here.
So we like to start every episode with something nice that's happened this week.
Mhm.
Bullet, as our guest, we'll ask you first.
Yes, I did have my seminar project a few days ago passed, I believe. I don't really know the grades yet, but I feel like I did pretty good. So that is nice. Yeah, just the seminar project. I guess I don't really have anything else.
Hey, well, that's a big thing.
Yeah,
And I'm glad that you feel like you did well. That probably means you did really well.
yeah. I usually like to be pessimistic with things like that, so I don't disappoint myself. It's happened
sure
a
you
lot
won't.
before. I hope not.
Well, you'll have to let us know once you know for sure.
No, definitely I will.
What about you, Malachi? What's something nice that happened to you?
Well, I have three things that I want to mention really quickly, if
Ooh.
you can bear with me.
Of course.
The first is a callback to something I mentioned many episodes ago. I've been biding my time, waiting in the digital shadows, and my moment came. There has been a sale on the really good shorts I mentioned, and now I have a second pair of really awesome shorts, the best shorts I've ever worn. So,
Oh, hell yeah.
yeah, I think I linked to that type of shorts in the episode, but anyway, I'll link to it again in this one. They're very good shorts. Anyone that is a fan of shorts, I recommend you try out some cool shorts. The other thing is, today we went to, it's springtime here in Washington, and we went to a nursery today, and I finally bought some raspberries. Our family's going to start planting raspberries in the yard, and berries in general are just my favorite fruit, so I'm looking forward to that. And the third thing I want to mention is there was a game that released out of nowhere for me this week. It's a game called 9 Souls. It's by a really awesome Taiwanese game developer called Red Candle Games. I've played just a few hours of this game so far, but it's got such an awesome and unique setting. They call it like Daopunk. It's like Taoism and steampunk combined. It's really, really cool. And I think some elements of the story so far would really appeal to Star of Providence players. Also, the gameplay is really fun, and I would recommend it to Hollow Knight fans as well. So I was really happy to see that drop, and I've really enjoyed my time with it. So, yeah.
What I want to hear a little bit more about 9 Souls. Like, what kind of a game is it?
I think a lot of people describe it as a Sekiro-like. It's got like kind of like really reflex-based combat where you're deflecting bullets and swords. So timing is very important. I didn't beat Sekiro. I I played it for a little bit and walked away from it. But this game, the world has pulled me in enough that I'm really invested in learning how to play it. I think it's worth mentioning that it does have a story mode. So if you're someone who isn't a huge fan of that kind of like challenging combat, you can just play through the story mode. And so far, the story and the characters are strong enough that I would recommend it. So the only caveat I'll give is I am only like 3 to 4 hours in, but a lot of story so far, like a very deep story. And there's kind of a twist in the game, like 30 minutes in, where I was just like, oh my gosh, this is sweet. So, yeah.
All right. Excellent.
I think I've played the demo for 9 Souls, so it's nice to hear that it finally released. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, they did. They had a demo, and then they had it was delayed. It was actually going to release earlier, and they decided to delay it to fine tune it. And here in the Star Province community, we're big fans of the developers delaying games so that they can get everything done just right before they release it.
Yeah,
More like
surely.
more like we just don't have a choice in the matter. It's not like the dev asked us if you would like that. It's just like that's just what you're having.
No, but we are supportive.
Sure.
But Nick, what about you? What's something nice that happened to you this week?
Mine is just going to be a repeat of an old one. I know I've already mentioned this before, but I still really enjoy making some homemade fried rice. Like, I'm someone who loves eating and cooking, and for me, when I have an opportunity in a week to make a nice big dish with lots of flavors, I am happy to take it. So, so today I made some rice, and then I made some peas, and then cut up some garlic, some white onion, red onion, green onion, leeks, carrots, garlic. Then made some scrambled eggs, and then put it all together. Lots of spices, a little bit of MSG, some soy sauce on the top. It's it's delightful, and it's one of those things that still gives me great joy because for me, it's an opportunity to have a pleasurable experience that really stimulates all of the senses at once. So it's just it's fun, and it's fun to literally eat the fruits of my labors. Mhm.
I fully support you continuing to make fried rice. You should open up a stand, start selling it.
There is one dish that I've been meaning to make, and I keep postponing it, which is like making this really tasty, making homemade meatballs with tomato sauce and with lots of vegetables, and then serve that on top of rice. Like a really just powerful thing, and I keep meaning I'll get around to it, but ironically, fried rice ends up being less work somehow. But oh well, it is what it is.
Well, you are just like putting rice in, I assume, a rice cooker or something.
I actually don't happen to have a rice cooker.
Oh,
I should. I know I should, but I don't.
I don't have one either, but I've heard it would change your life for a rice eater.
But see, the problem is I already have the problem for like having too many things in the kitchen, like taking up a lot of space, and like I don't want to throw them away, but I also like I can't get more stuff. Don't have anywhere to put it.
Okay, Bullet is right. It will change your life. Let me
Hmm.
pitch you on a rice cooker.
Oh
Because
boy.
I already
no,
know I should. I'm not
no. Just
saying.
let me tell you. Let me tell you. Okay, so there are rice cookers. The Japanese brand is, I think it's called Zojirushi. It's what I have. I'll have to double check, but you can set a timer. So you put the rice and the water in the morning, and you say, okay, I want the rice to be done at 5:30 when I get home,
Hmm.
and it'll cook itself. It's awesome.
I know, I know. It's like, where the hell am I gonna put it? I already have too much crap in the kitchen.
Just put it on your bed.
Yeah, just sleep right next to the rice cooker. That's wake up to the smell of freshly made rice.
Surely that can only go well.
So yeah, what did you grow up playing? What did you connect with as a kid, and what influenced you to become the player you are today?
Hmm. As a kid, I didn't really have any of those consoles, really. I only just had a PC and a
Mm-hmm.
PS2. And I think one of the first games I ever played was just Mario or something, some Mario Flash game.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite games when I was a child on the PlayStation 2 was Ape Escape 3. I used to play that all the time. It was a great
Mm.
game. Mm, I can't really remember much else, but I know in 2012 on my birthday, I started playing TF2, and I have like 4,500 hours on it by now.
Oh wow.
Well,
I
so, yeah, I'm
haven't
only at 2,000, so you're beating me for sure.
two times over. I haven't
What's your
played it
What's your
in.
favorite class?
I'm at demo main all the way. and I'm not
Oh,
a
okay,
sticky
so you're
spammer.
here to ruin people's days. Okay,
No, I
gotcha.
don't speak sticky spam. I'm a huge fan of the loose cannon. It's the best weapon in the game. So much fun. I
All right.
understand the stigma around Demo Man and the sticky spam, but I'm not like that, I swear.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I think that's about it. All the games I can remember from my childhood.
I remember seeing the Ape Escape commercials when I was a kid, and that is one of those games that always made me wish I had a PlayStation.
Oh, it's so much fun. It's probably one of my favorite games. Kind of sad they never made a PC version
Hmm.
or just a sequel in general. I know that they made like four in the series, but one more wouldn't hurt. Look at Patapon. They're working on a sequel after 20 years. Why can't Ape Escape?
Well, hope springs eternal.
If you think about it and talk about it, you might just bring it into existence, Bullet, because recently I was talking to my friend and I said, hey, the only type of expensive Lego set I could probably ever be convinced to buy would be Zelda, but they're not going to make that. And then literally the next day, he sent me this announcement from the Japan Nintendo Twitter that was like, hey, we're making Zelda Legos. And I'm like, damn it.
I mean,
Oh
you say
no,
that, but the entire server has been trying to manifest the update for years, and it still hasn't happened.
that is very fair as well. Hey, there's like 20 or something. What are they called? Like game events coming in
Hmm.
June. So maybe something will come up from that. We'll see.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is like peak Ape Escape reveal season.
Yeah, exactly. This month is gonna be packed. Surely they will release something. They have to.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So, Bullet, how did you first learn about Star of Providence, or, as it was called then, Monolith?
It was back in 2018. It was from one of my friends in the Isaac server. He would like constantly talk about it and say, "Oh, this game is fantastic." And he was constantly posting images, and I decided to check it out eventually. And so I did. I also got into the Discord, and I remember commenting a lot on the teasers channel.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed looking at the upcoming updates. Yeah, it was from one of my friends from the Isaac server, and them
Mm-hmm.
constantly gushing about it.
People were gushing about it on the Isaac server.
Yes, this was in like 2018 when the server had like 3,000 people. It's not over 100k now, so there's less discussion about that. It's all lateral talk right now. I think
Wait, was Edward what's his
Edmund.
name?
Edmund
Edmund.
McMillan.
Edmund
Yeah,
McMillan, yeah.
it was Edward. Shows you how much I know about Binding of Isaac. But was he on the Discord? In the Discord?
He wasn't at the time. I don't remember when he joined, but he is there now. I think it was around when they were developing the card game, the Four Souls. He joined the server to advertise it, and then he just decided to stick around. But he's there now. Doesn't really talk much, but yeah.
I was
Hmm.
just really curious to know if Edmund had ever played Star Providence.
I don't think I do. I remember talking to Kilburn about this. Kilburn, he's
Mm-hmm.
the main developer of Repentance, and I was like nudging him, hey, you should talk to Edmund about adding Star of Providence calls cards to Four Souls. And he did tell him about it a few times, but I don't think Edmund really the added like nothing came out of it. But Edmund does know about its existence because Kilburn has talked to him about it. The Star of Providence, that is. I don't think he played it though.
Hmm.
I hope he does someday because it's the game is heavily inspired by Binding of Isaac. So,
But better.
well, yes, I agree with that, but I think it would be neat. I mean, if I made a game that was really popular and then someone iterated on that, it would be kind of a neat thing to play their game too, to see how
Mm-hmm.
they took concepts you introduced or game mechanics you had in your game and how they tweaked them.
Yeah, I guess I can understand with Isaac being one of the most influential roguelikes of all time. There's probably a
Mhm.
lot of people influenced by it, so I can't really blame Edmund for not having time to catch up to all these games. He's a busy guy, I believe.
So, what has kept you playing Star of Providence for so long? I think you said you have been in the community for at least 6 years, right?
Yes, I've been in it since 2018. I haven't really, like, I've been playing again recently, but last month or so I hadn't played for a year. Well, I
Mhm.
know, like, it's easier for me to, play more of it because I have beta access, so I have more things than the typical player.
Mhm. We'll talk about the beta in just a sec.
Yeah,
Like, what is it about the game itself that is like kept you so captured you so much that kept you coming back to it year after year?
I was talking about how I guess the bosses are what kept me hooked on Star of Providence. I think they're all very well designed, and I love fighting all the bosses. And I mentioned how I was very interested in database because Pure told me it would be a better version of Delirium from Isaac, and I was very interested to see that. And it was very glorious. He didn't lie when he said it was a better version of that.
A better version of Delirium?
Yeah, he's. I don't know if you've played Isaac or you know who Delirium is, but
I
he
don't.
basically he's like a goo monster that transforms into every boss that you defeated, except he gets
Oh,
faster when his health gets lower, so he tends to just slam into you with no room for dodging. And
okay.
people really hate that. Unlike Database, he doesn't combine the bosses, he just turns into them, so it's quite boring and bland.
So it's a good idea, but less bullshit.
Exactly, yeah. A lot of people said that Delirium is a cool concept, just executed terribly. And that's
Huh.
what Database fixed about Delirium, I'd say. Great execution.
Is Database your favorite boss then?
Uh, for now, yes. That might change in the future.
Ooh, a mysterious teaser.
Yeah, I can't really give too much information, but there are some very cool stuff happening in
Oh,
the beta.
I know what the cool stuff he's talking about.
I'm very excited.
So you mentioned the beta, that you're a beta tester. So you've been a beta tester since the very beginning, back in June of 2018, the very first beta wave. Like, and I just kind of want to ask you like a couple questions, like what was it like to be personally invited to be part of the beta group?
I do remember, like I said earlier, I was talking in the teaser discussion chat a lot, kind of like
Hmm.
sucking up to Pure in a way, so I was kind of thinking I would be selected. It's part of the reason why I
It's
was
like,
talking. Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do to get into beta.
you were like, I hate Gungeon. I hate Gungeon. It's the worst game ever.
That's how you get selected, yeah. Just keep shitting on Gungeon.
Yeah, if that was true, half the server would be in the beta testing.
It's true. And yeah, it was very nice. I was very happy to be selected. I
Hmm.
think the uniques weren't in the game at a time. That was one of the most exciting parts of testing for relics of the past back then, or the unique weapons.
Oh man, I can imagine.
Yeah, the unique weapons are are still very cool. Back then they were even cooler, and I can tell you now, the uniques that are going to come up later in in the update are also very cool. I have a few particular favorites there.
Yeah,
Now, is there anything about those old beta builds that you remember that you'd like to discuss? And by the way, I have already mentioned to Ruben one time, yeah, Iron Fist used to be 4 balls, not 2, and that was so busted.
I
So busted.
remember I would talk about Iron Fist being my favorite unique all the time. It went through so many iterations.
Mhm.
I don't really remember how good it is right now, but I really loved the first iteration with the 4 balls. It was fantastic back then.
Mhm.
And for the dev builds, oh, I don't really have the older versions, but oh man, I remember there was one version where all the sounds got jumbled up.
Yes, I think it was one very very early on. Like this
Yeah,
every time a sound effect played, it played a completely random, unassociated sound effect, or sometimes even music got jumbled. Because like I remember floor one, the music, it was just like something breaking or webcam pickup sound just on loop.
it was definitely the most memorable build. I remember like I was killing enemies and they were playing the Monolith soundtrack, like an entire 3 minute long soundtrack. So it would just like keep getting like stacking on top of each other. It would just get unlistenable. And I think Pure also made a special like 1.666 build
Hmm.
where all the rooms were red and there was like destroyers in every room. That was also a funny build. It was a while back though.
And I do remember there was one other, because at some point, as you mentioned, testing uniques was a really cool part, but we were saying, well, it's really hard to get actual specific uniques, and then he made the artificer build, which is like fine. Every floor you get a random unique just spawning in at the starting room for fun.
Yeah, that was a very fun one as well.
But like one of the things Pure kind of wants to test with these builds, obviously, is like, well, not just the new stuff, but like how likely are you to encounter the new stuff? Right? There has to be a balance between what's already there and what's being added. But of course, if we want to test the new stuff, if it's too rare, it can be difficult to give feedback on that.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
Bullet, during your time being a beta tester, are there any contributions or discoveries that you've made that you're particularly proud of?
I do have a contribution and I have been looking for the setup for a while we were talking. So in 2019, I think it was Extruder, Axie, one of the first testers who has now left. I'll post
Hmm.
this in the Discord group chat, but he sent this message over here. I'll say it. I don't know if you can like edit the photo on screen, but he quotes someone who says the 7 mage dudes are actually friends, and he says, "Oh, I request a photoshopped image of the council faces on Friends sitcom opening." And so,
Did you heed the call?
of course,
Yes.
I spent like an hour, and I ended up making this image right here, and then there's the image.
Oh,
And then
that's
around
awesome.
around an hour or two later, Alex went and dropped this edit to my image. He liked the meme so much that he iterated on it, and then it ended up becoming an actual portrait in the game.
Hmm.
Oh, wow. That's the origin of that portrait?
Yes, that's the
Oh, that's so
origins of
cool.
the Friends portrait.
We'll have to link these images in the show notes so people can see it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of my proudest accomplishments in Star of Providence, getting that portrait in the game.
You got some fine art put into the game.
Yeah,
Wow. And I was gonna mention you getting a legitimate F ranking on the lead on like the report card, but I think this might be even cooler.
I was indeed the first one to get an all F ranking in the server, and I was the first one to beat Loop 500 back then, I believe.
Yep.
Did you say loop 500?
Yes.
There was a one point where the loop counter, I think, it got bugged, so it was ignoring the normal limit, and you could just set it ridiculously high.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. So I
Wow.
just played Loop 500 for the joke of it, and I somehow survived.
I think I later played Loop 666 for the fun of it too, at one point.
Yeah, I have a role on the server that's 501, and that's what that role means.
Oh, okay.
We're uncovering deep server lore here.
I was gonna say, yeah, I feel like I'm learning so much.
Yeah.
Do you have any particular memories or stories about StarProf, whether the game or its community, that you cherish? Just like moments where you're like, man, this is really cool. I like this. I like this a lot.
I think I remember when Chaos God first got added. I think me and Nick were like going at it, trying to get to Chaos God first.
No, first. So to explain, Temple was actually one of the last things we had beta access to, because Nowhere and Database were not complete but functional first, and Temple was still in the works. When it finally got added, we were like, okay, Pierre was like, hey, you should see what happens if you go into like the max Temple. And so, okay, we do that. Obviously, Temple is like amazing, but also very punishing. And then we get to Warden. Now, the thing is, there was a bug in the very first beta that had Warden where, you know, the attack in Phase 4 when Warden freezes time. There was a bug where if he had the aiming laser enabled, the instant he activated that attack, the game would crash. And I had it on, but Bullet didn't, which means that he could get through the fight first. We were literally racing each other on the server trying to get through this, and he could just win because, you know, his game didn't crash. So he got to see Chaos God first. And it was a really tough battle, and he lost. Then on the next version, when it got patched and I could get there, I did get to Chaos God, and I did actually manage to beat it. So he got to beat Warden first, and he got to see Chaos God first, but I got to like defeat Chaos God, like, you know, much more smoothly. I remember that. That was a cool moment for sure.
Yeah, that was very awesome.
So, Bullet, you were the first person to lay eyes on Chaos God outside of the developers then?
Yes.
Oh, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. It is definitely one of the coolest boss fights in the game, and I think it always looked the way that it currently does. Right? Even in the early builds, it was basically complete.
I don't think they ever added anything to it.
Yeah, but because Database and 0.0, on the other hand, those did go through a few iterations, and some of the old builds do show like different steps in the evolution. And most memorably, 0.0 used to have its own like boss title, like its name in the boss lettering, and then that got removed in the actual live version, which still mystifies me. I don't know why.
I've known about that because everyone would refer to 0.0, and I was like, how does anyone know what this is called? Because I never saw that.
It used to be visible, and I'm pretty sure we told other people like, okay, this is what this is called. But
yeah, well, there's a song on the soundtrack called 0.0.
But that song was been there since before Relics of the Past, actually.
Okay.
Because it's in the original soundtrack. I think it's the it's the song for Floor 5. So
far away from 0.0.
Yeah, but maybe there's some connection there that's being hinted at.
Maybe Overlord is the real 0.0.
Sure.
Looking into the future, Bullet, do you have plans or ambitions about things you'd like to do with the game or within the game?
And even if you'd like, without saying too much, things you'd like to do after the update drops?
I just hope I can live long enough to see DLC 2, honestly. I know there's this piece that Alex uploaded on his DeviantArt a few years ago, and I've been very enamored with it for a while. It's like this huge mechanical mage.
Oh, with the three right arms.
Yeah. I'll find it and I'll post it.
No, no, I remember. It's such a cool thing, but I think it's safe to say that even in the beta update, we that's nowhere to be seen.
I feel
So we're
like
like, we have
they.
no idea what it is.
I think Alex said it would be for DLC 2 at some point, or maybe Pure. There's
God,
definitely a monolith Star Providence thing. So
yeah.
I will work hard on staying alive to see DLC 2. Hopefully that happens in my lifetime.
That's a good goal. We should all work on that together.
Absolutely.
Hey, I need to stay alive to see all the cool beta stuff you guys have already seen and that you're mercilessly teasing about.
I'm
Very
sorry,
fair.
it's just so cool, and we want everyone to see how cool it is, but we have to wait so long.
Yeah. I wonder if anybody saved the pictures that the developers had a while back of those interesting looking portraits.
Oh, I think someone did screenshot them because there was a lot of
Hmm.
analysis going on.
Yeah. I think someone even like pulled up old like concept art that used to be in the Relics of the Past Steam page and be like, "Hey, that looks like that thing over there." They there was some good sleuthing happening.
Yeah, some people did do a good job of analyzing it for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in the beta. I've honestly mostly been playing Scully. I know it sounds boring, but new Scully is super fun.
It's definitely way more fun than like live version Skull. Yeah, I'll admit to that.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet Fun Scully.
Hmm.
Yeah, it sounds wild, but it's real. He's actually fun.
Hmm.
I believe you.
Yeah, actually, fun Scully. What a concept.
Yeah, you can shoot more than once every 5 seconds and still be strong. It's great.
I mean, you can still do that in like live version. It's just that people are always like, "Oh, the damage number and not the fire rate number." Like, I think that contributes a lot to this perception of like Scully. Oh, you play it this way. It's like, no, you can play it other ways, but all the same, yeah. My goodness, it's so much better in the beta. I can't wait until people play the better version of what is still the worst character.
Yeah. Okay, I found the image I was talking about, and they still have it tweeted out, I believe. Let me see. Actually, is it still tweeted out?
And I remember the image very clearly because it
Oh
was.
my gosh.
It's a very cool concept art.
Hmm.
That is super cool. I think you can see database in it.
And like the runic inscriptions on the left arm too, like the glyphs,
Yeah.
and like
That,
the symbol on like the forehead of the hood.
oh my gosh. That's incredible. I've never seen this.
It's so cool. I've been thinking about it ever since they posted it.
Yeah, April 28th, 2018.
It's been on my mind for
For 6
6 years.
years.
Just living this mini armed mage living in your head for years and years.
Yeah, who could
Nothing
it
makes
be?
me pine for the update more than Alex's art. When I see
Dude,
stuff like this, I'm
seriously,
just like, oh my gosh.
Alex is
I
incredible.
I can guarantee you when it comes out, some of the new art that you'll be able to see is really cool, like super cool.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be weeping tears of joy.
You maybe. So, Bullet, do you have any hopes or wishes for the future of the game or the future of the community around the game?
Oh, yeah. Pure did want to say he wants to make an entirely new weapon. That would be nice to see at some point.
Oh, but that would break the theming of like there being 13 weapon types, like 13
That's
being like
true
an
as
arc
well.
number for the game.
Maybe they'll introduce a 14th visitor, and then they will rebrand to D14.
Yeah.
It's the only way that can work.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah, it's not too far fetched.
I'm hoping that in the future we'll be able to have more tourneys and they being a little bit more popular. Like that's just my hope. I
Oh,
want more community events. I want more things that bring people in the
Hmm.
community together and all working on the same thing. Maybe like art contest or the poetry contest that you, Malachi, tried to run that one time. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Very grateful to the 3 people that entered that.
Yeah, I just want more of like people coming together and all doing something together for the game.
yeah, I think with the huge success of Animal Well, Big Mode, the publisher, is definitely way more eyes on it. So I feel like
Yeah.
when the update and the Switch version come out, there will definitely be a lot more people looking at Star of Providence at the very least. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can get a good burst of players there.
Just a huge shot in the arm for the community. That's what we need.
Yeah, it's exciting to contemplate.
Absolutely.
Bullet, thank you so much again for taking time to be here with us. Where can listeners find you on the internet?
I don't really have a specific place where I post prolifically or that much, but I guess I am on Twitter at BulletDuDe because BulletDude was taken, so I just changed to that. It's Doodee.
Dude.
Yeah, yeah, that's basically it. I have a YouTube channel. I uploaded the conversation with Lawman there. I think that's about it. But I guess I also do have that channel if some people want to go there for whatever reason. I don't think I'll ever upload, but yes, I'll post the link to that as well.
Okay, yeah, we will link to both of those and also to your friends council art.
It's fantastic.
All right, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun being here. It was a good time.
Thanks so much for listening to our Star of Providence fan cast. Big thanks as always to Garoslaw for allowing us to use his music and sound effects.
You can find all of the Star of Providence soundtracks on Garoslaw's Bandcamp, the base game soundtrack, the Relics of the Past soundtrack, and the 5th Anniversary Edition soundtrack. And once again, thank you to Bullet for being here with us.
Thanks, Bullet.
You're welcome.
If you have any comments or suggestions for the show, you can reach out to us on our Discord server. We'll post the server link in the show notes.
And there you will find fellow pilots to talk with and discuss the show. Thanks for listening. We hope you'll join us next time.
This is what you came for, isn't it?
So be it.